All right, everybody. Welcome back to Matt Money. Great days in the market, as you guys are well aware. It's been a lot of fun. I'm over in Europe right now, unfortunately, so I can't necessarily be on normal time. But hopefully, we have a nice like 20, 30 minutes or something like that before we uh, we have to kick it off for bed because I gotta go fly home in the morning. Anyway, about 11 of you on YouTube. I know another popular streamer is up and running right now, so probably competing with them. But I figured in the meantime, let's just get kicked off. Let's see if we can steal some folks over from that, and then by the end of the evening, 20, 30, maybe an hour from now, we can have something successful. And somebody might have learned something and potentially has the opportunity to make a little bit of money. That's always the goal by doing these live streams and stuff of the like. Um, I just realized I'm like clicking around like a crazy person, and I hope that I'm still streaming the Rocket mortgages. So, funny thing, those of you guys that are watching on other avenues, um, I made this joke on Vince's live stream the other day, actually. But when we were doing Rocket Lab chat yesterday, because Rocket Lab obviously went up pretty well over the past 2 days, um, I made the joke that I put it all into Rocket Mortgage, so RKT versus RKLB, and obviously that's a joke, right? And hopefully those that you saw that on X and actually interacted with it actually got some pretty good responses and pretty good some pretty good love from that one. That's obviously a joke, right? I've been investing in Rocket Lab now for quite some time, so a lot of fun to actually see Rocket Lab itself do rather well. It's actually opening up. It's been a pretty good week for RKLB. Let's pull it up. 15% this week. So it was nice to be able to get a little bit of love. So it was like $7. It was hanging on the sevens. I honestly thought it was going to be sitting here and retracing. But luckily for us, we were able to see it moon a little bit. So it's nice to be able to get a win every once in a while. And I know portfolio's up really nicely. I sold these you guys that know, I sold my oil stocks, the ones that I could at least, because some of them are tied up in restriction. But sold the oil stocks. Oil's back down again. Apparently, Saudi Arabia's given the rest of the world the death stare, seeing if they could open up the taps and stuff of the like. So, with that, we'll continue to see oil prices go down. I think by the time you start hearing CNBC and many other people talking about oil going to zero and how it's worthless to invest in and things of the like, that's likely going to be the time where you should probably start looking at it. So I know a lot of people are actually poking right now and looking at things like USO, the oil funds. You got to be careful with this stuff, man, because when the price goes down, it goes down pretty quick, and you can get caught in Katango and a whole bunch of stuff. Um, so just be fearful with things like this. You might be able to do well with uh, with investing in oil funds if you time it right. But the problem is you're investing in futures, and when you're investing in futures like that, you have to do and invest in the premiums of the future prices. So just be careful, when you're looking at it. If you think it's going to have an abrupt turnaround, like a good example of when a decent time to invest in like a futures fund like USO, US oil or something like that. Remember from 2020 when it went negative that day? Obviously, over the coming weeks it was going to go back to positive, right? And it was literally just a financial engineering metric to why oil went negative, because people didn't want to take ownership of it, right? A lot of people trade oil financially, but they don't actually want to take possession of it. So that's why it traded negative. It's for basically people to just take it, right? They just wanted it off their books. So anyway, a great time would have been to buy USO, or something like that, because obviously oil is not going to be $0 forever, right? We do use 80 to 100 million barrels of it a day, so In that case, it was 80 million a day because obviously the pandemic was going, but now we use like 102, 103 million a day. So makes sense to continue to invest in oil. But anyway, back onto that. Let's see if there's any questions in. I actually have TikTok open as well. We have 120 people in there, which is surprising. I haven't done a TikTok live in many moons, so I'll try to see if I can answer any questions in both on the TikTok side as well as the YouTube side. But a lot of familiar faces here on the tube. So we got Steve Lynn, we got Slayton, we got Astricus, we got Thomas Carter Thompson, we got Lisa Turk, Trent again. We got Adam. You're the man. Thank you for continuing to be a member. Yeah, $60 a barrel is probably not the time to be buying. I think a lot of times people get. This is where people. I don't want to say get spooked, but this is going to sound really bad, but they blow their load, right? So they get super excited. They're looking to buy something, and 60 is not a bad price. It's just I feel like if you're thinking that we're in turmoil and oil is really like in that bottom stage, then I think you're just kind of lying to yourself. I mean, it's not a bad price. It's just I feel like you're going to be waiting a while versus knowing how cyclical oil is. I feel like you just hold out a little bit longer, um, and you're really looking for a swing trade. Then the problem is if you're looking for a swing trade, something that's like a month to 3 months long, you might be in this a lot longer than you think. But but yeah, rocket fuel doesn't cost $60 a barrel. You never know. You never know. Um, so yeah, hopefully folks are doing rather well. Sorry, my phone's about to slip here. Looks like TikTok gave me a little bit of a boost and then everybody rolled out, which is understandable because I don't really come on to TikTok very often. But things for you guys. What is rocket fuel? Is it gaseous? It really depends, man. It could be kerosene, it could be liquid oxygen, it could be liquid methane. It could be a lot of different things. It really just depends on how the rocket pumps and everything are set up and the fuel mixtures you want. And do you want it to be in a vacuum or do you want to, or if you're sending it orbital or yeah, if you're sending it out of space, you kind of have to have a certain type versus if it's suborbital, you can use different things. But anyway, what's up with oil? Just talked about it, my guy. Yeah, oil's challenged. To go back on that piece, it's oil specifically. If you're thinking about it, 100 some million barrels a day of usage, but um, a lot of people continue to drill. Right, the United States continue to drill. Um, Guyana is a really big region right now, and a lot of areas are just continuing to add and add and add supply to the market. So you've had OPEC do as much as they can to help curtail the price slump, but they're choked back by 3 to 5 million. And at some point, they have to stop worrying about what the world oil market is doing. Stop playing nicely with others and worry about their own. You have to think that those economies are very different than the United States and many other economies where you have other things, but oil is literally their largest export slash GDP maker. So if you're only making a certain amount, and a lot of those are welfare states, they're basically using those companies to create the money used to keep their citizens happy. Because a lot of those countries, you're either working for the oil company or you're working small businesses, or you don't really have a job whatsoever. Um, so yeah, you kind of have to think about it in that respect, and it's just a very different mentality. It's not to say that welfare state or anything means negative, right? It's just the way that things are, right? You have countries like Saudi that are trying to diversify out of oil only, right? That's why they're trying to get into renewables. Why they're trying to diversify outside of Saudi Arabia. You saw them pick up some liquid natural gas plants or some stakes in liquid natural gas plants recently. Um, we could talk about that. Go deeper in a different time, but yeah, still in Europe. So it's like almost 11 p.m. Right now. So I'll be probably catching up. Well, I won't be probably catching a plane. I'll be catching a plane 9 a.m. this time. So like, what is that? 3, 4, depending on if you're Central or Eastern time tomorrow morning. 3, 4 a.m. So 9 o'clock, I'll be headed home. It'll be nice. So I'll get home back in Houston. What 1:30, 2 o'clock. So it'll be nice. I'll try my best not to go to sleep because when you go to sleep on the plane, especially, well, there's a little bit of a trick when you're flying from U.S. to Europe. Um, force yourself to go to bed. uh, if you're flying and waking up, because at least in the afternoon, because if you're leaving in the afternoon, you're going to Europe, it'll be morning by the time you arrive. So at least helps a little bit if you go to sleep. But if you try to stay up and watch movies and stuff like that, I did that the first couple times, and yeah, it really messes with you. Um, Seem like a cool guy. My day's going well, man. About to hit some sleep. Yeah, man, we got some friends in here talking about Rocket Lab. That's all I like to see. VTI till you die. Nothing wrong with that, man, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you just don't want to dedicate a lot of time to investing. I agree. VTI is a good one. You can't go wrong with just investing in VTI. Did you watch the interview with the lady from Next? Yeah, man, I think Next, I never had a doubt in my mind with NEXT next decade that they would stop construction. I think they pointed blank, put that in their press release after the DC circuit came out. So, and you guys saw my article that I wrote on NEXT on Seeking Alpha. That, I mean, I had that written from day one. So I was never concerned with that at all. So nothing really upsetting for me. Let's see. Using zero gravity make stuff could have a large TAM, lots of potential. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the like the Varda space missions and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the semiconductor industry, the medical industry, a lot of different things can really benefit from those. What's that? Oh yeah, not happening. I mean, it is kind of happening, right? I mean, we'll see because I think Varda's doing something with SpaceX, or they already launched with SpaceX. So hopefully by the middle of next year, I know there's another launch with Varda in the coming months, and hopefully that continues to do well. David, what's going on, my guy? Hope things are going well. BOP alert. I don't know what BOP alert means, but um, let's see. There's about 30 of you online, so I'll ask some questions and or answer some questions and on YouTube, and if there's anything that comes through, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll probably call it early because it is almost 11 o'clock here, and I definitely don't want to miss my flight tomorrow. So, oh, best of people. Oh, thank you, my guy. I think the Rocket Lab boat, or you missed the Rocket Lab boat. What's a good time to buy in? Hey, man, I can't tell you what's a good price or bad price, but what I can say is you can look at what you think is the future potential of the company. And what I can say is if you think the potential of the company is, let's say, 25, $50 billion in the next 10 years, does it really matter if you're buying it at 7, 6, or $8, right? Or like a 3 or a 3.5 or $4 billion market cap? Because regardless of where you buy it, you're gonna 10x your money. And as long as you think you're gonna outperform the S&P 500, with risks that you're willing to take, then that's all that really matters, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter what I think. I already have 19,000, 20,000 shares, so it's not a big deal for me. I'm not buying here because there's other things I want to add position sizes to. I've kind of dedicated that 100 grand in a single position is kind of like my limit, and I'm getting pretty close to that. Um, so yeah, like of actual cost basis, right? Obviously, the position now is way more than 100 grand, but yeah, I don't. I've kind of said, you know what? I'm okay losing 100, but I'm not okay losing more. So I'm looking at other things to add money to. Now, obviously, if it came down, maybe I'd trickle here or there. The other, I'd really like to get to 25,000 shares, but um, it might not work out that way, man. Um, I appreciate you getting me to 1K likes, my guy, on TikTok. That's nice of you. Um, do I have an opinion on Salesforce? No, I do not. You just got to be able to stomach the ups and downs in the meantime. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, I don't know what's going to happen with Rocket Lab. It might continue to go up. It might pull back. You know, I really can't say. I think there's a lot of obstacles still to kind of be met, and some people might be going in thinking that there's like some crazy potential that's going to happen next month. Who the hell knows? Others could be investing because it's one of the better opportunities on the market when it comes to space. Some people might just be buying for the hype. It could be swing trading, could be people trying to um, unload their short position, which is another thing that they've had a large short position for quite some time, and you know probably a lot of people made a lot of money. I know the stock was up at $20 at one point, so the fact that they shorted it all the way down from 20 to, and I'm sure there is somebody that shorted it from 20 all the way down to 4, um, probably made a crap ton of money. So honestly, if retail could you organize a mass bear talk only around Rocket Lib for another 3 months, I would be for it. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Do you own any gold or silver bullion? No, I know people that are into it. I used to think I wanted to get into it, and then I started to actually think about my investing goals and stuff like that. I think a lot of people invest in things because they don't really know what they want and they're trying to explore, and that's okay to an extent. But what I did realize very early on after doing some more research and stuff of the like is gold is not liquid. Um, it most of the time barely beats inflation over the long haul. There might be spurts of times where you have outsized returns. So the only time I ever really thought about gold recently was back in 2017, 2018 when it dipped down to $1,200 an ounce because it had peaked at $2,000 an ounce back in 2012 and then came down and it had just been hanging out. So I was like, okay. I was like, all you need is some sort of catalyst to, and oil stocks are the same way, right? You have large bumps up in the stock where a lot of margin gets made. So basically, the cost to produce the barrels versus what you could sell them for is really big. But over time, if the oil price or gold price or metals price stays the same, generally speaking, the cost to develop goes up and up and up. And a lot of that's inflation. A lot of that's just the easy stuff is gets drilled and or recovered first. Then what ends up happening is after your costs generally get closer, your margins continue to shrink, net profit goes down, but eventually there's a choke back, right? There's some sort of recession or something like that. And it's just the cyclical nature of the business. What ends up happening is your costs end up being more than what you could sell it for. There's a retracement, layoffs in the service industries, people are drilling less, costs overall are going down, and the whole thing happens again. So it's very comparable to what happened with gold. And so it's just an opportunity right now with gangbusters to invest in gold mining companies, but eventually 2 to 3 years time, let's say it hovers around $2,500 and just stays there, then over time, net profits are going to go down and buybacks are going to stop being so high, and then you're going to end up basically share value is going to probably go down unless you're doing buybacks or something of the like. So really, when you want to buy those companies is when everybody says you shouldn't buy the companies, right? Everyone at that point is just like, the stock sucks. Nobody cares about oil and gas stocks. Nobody cares about metals companies. And that's the time when you should be looking at it most of the time because that's really when people are starting to recognize, oh, um, it's unfavored, right? And generally when that happens, all the uh, all the demand and everybody that was drilling for profits either goes bankrupt, gets consolidated, um, things normalize, and then things eventually go back up. So, but anyway, this was kind of an incoherent rant. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it just a little bit. But I'm gonna call it here, and hopefully can do another stream tomorrow or something like that when when I get back if I'm not exhausted. But I need to stay up because it'll be like 1 to 2, and I'd like to normalize because I only had the weekend. Then I have to be back in the office on Monday, so I'd like to stay up a little bit longer tomorrow, and maybe I'll crash it like a couple hours early because I'd like to sleep in anyway. So if I sleep in, and I crash a little early tomorrow, but I sleep in, meaning get like 10 to 12 hours of sleep, then I'll wake up probably at a normal hour. Normally, I like to stay into bed at like 10, 11. It's the nice thing about being single, no kids. Um, don't have to wake up and take care of them. So, but anyway, lost everybody on TikTok. So, and I'm probably losing all of you guys. And I know Amit is probably still going, believe it or not. But unfortunately, yeah, money never sleeps, my guy. Money never sleeps. But great times in the market, man. I need to adjust my workbook because I've sold some things, I bought some things, but man, Nvidia's continued to do well. It's almost on my cost base. I've been selling cover calls like travel like crazy, and no, I might wait till that gets me another couple percent and sell that early, and then Stag Industrials looking for a trim. I was hoping it'd go north of 40, but it looks like it's going to put up a fight and longer than I expected. I expected rates to drop faster, but um, I don't know. Maybe I'll let it go before October 18th. I have a $40 call, but I was expecting it to get called away, but I don't know if it will. But that's like 50, 60 grand between those two. And maybe it's a little bit less. Maybe it's a little bit more. Might be, maybe it's like 55. Maybe it's not more than 60. So yeah, once we sell those, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just sit in cash, to be honest. It's a lot of cash. That would be a lot of stuff of me saving up. But I guess markets are high right now, and it could be a good idea to stack a little bit of cash. Like if oil continues to go down and we do see the 40 or $50 range in the next couple months for oil, it'd probably be a good time to start DCAing. So maybe that's what I'll end up doing instead of holding on. It would suck though if I sold Nvidia and it continued to moon. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the short stream, only went 20 minutes long, but at the end of the day, uh, I don't know. I'm feeling pretty tired. It's coming on to me, so might as well hit the sheets and get on this plane tomorrow. In, believe it or not, less than 12 hours. And I had to take a bunch of trains to get there too. So you guys rock. It is always good seeing you guys, and hopefully I can see you again.